Stunning, absolutely stunning. Well, I think the way the ball came across to him was difficult to kind of bring under control. But Sarabia brought the ball under control out of nowhere, plucked it out of thin air, balanced it on his foot kind of delicately, and then rifled it on the volley in almost like a seamless move. So the scenes at the final whistle, because it was obviously at Molineux as well, was just like euphoric, really. And I feel like it's a real turning point for Wolves' season. And we spoke about him on this podcast before and how we were doubtful about Gary O'Neill's ability to kind of make them, reach the heights of challenging for Europe that we've seen in the past. And while I don't think that's going to happen this season by any stretch, I was having them down as relegation candidates at the start of the season. But you've said before, don't sleep on Wolves. They've got a really talented team of players that just need to be fashioned into a team that's hard to beat, first of all, and also believes in itself. And I think scoring 2 goals after 90 minutes to beat Tottenham at home shows a huge amount of belief in themselves and in the manager they've got as well. So real credit goes to them for that. And like you say, Lamina and Sarabia as well had, I think, probably one of the best games each individually for Wolves since they've joined the club. And how many players for Wolves have flattered to deceive so far since they've joined in the last year or two, especially, after having such a core team of players that have kind of left and departed all at once. They're trying to rebuild again, but that central core of the team has been amazing. And we've said it before, Hwang as well is such an awful, annoying player to play against, but you want him on your team, don't you? Because he just fights for the cause, and that's the kind of vein that we've got going through this Wolves team at the minute. It's just they fight for everything.
I think the only thing I think you can probably criticise them for is that there's a bit of indecisiveness in the decision making in the final third. You saw it especially in the first half.
Possibly,
they had a lot of opportunities in the final third where they could have easily created an opportunity, and it was just decision making just wasn't there, and it was there for a period. Obviously, in the second half, I don't think it helps that they've lost Pedro Neto again. He's really probably the key man for them, probably one of the most decisive players they've got in the attacking third. But you can't question what obviously Gary O'Neill was doing. I saw him on Monday Night Football the other week. He seems like a really intelligent guy, the way he wants to play football. And I think the areas that he kind of identifies in his analysis, and he was, speaking about kind of how he identifies sort of like, opportunities and weaknesses sort of in games, and sort of how they can open teams up. I thought it was really fascinating listening to him. So, I hope they can go, build on this now, because they're a talented team, and something that they've not struggled to do is actually bring in some, talented players over the last few years continuously. It's like on a conveyor belt at the minute. Sit in a similar vein to Brighton, probably not quite as successfully, but they don't lack the eye for talent, that's for sure.
Well, they've moved up to 12th in the table now, which is incredible. They're only a point behind Brentford and Chelsea, we've just talked about, sitting in 10th and 11th. So how this league can change in the middle of the table is ridiculous, isn't it? It just shows how tight and compact it is.